Fuego Pizza presents SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Guys, the Leafs have taken 3 of 4 points in the last 2 games. How you feeling, Steve?
Completely miserable.
And that brings us to who wore the crown. Live generously and life will treat you royally. We're going to jump right in. Why not pour yourself and a friend a crown royal? Because we're going to talk about who wore the crown.
Why not?
Where we with
Isn't that the bit?
You.
Where I go, why not?
We crown a Leaf. Who each show.
A what?
Who gives it their all for the blue and white, because it's our town, it's our crown, it's not what you have, but what you have to give. Let's crown a Leaf that lives generously by giving it all for their team. Brought to you by our friends at Crown Royal. Live generously and life will treat you royally. Let's get into it. Steve Dangle.
How have the Leafs been over their past 4 games?
Decent.
Which part of each game?
Yeah. The first 2 periods, some of the middle.
Yeah.
Well, they
Not
were
the
great
end.
the first 2 periods, so, like, you know, it's cool.
3 of those 4 games, they were really good in the first 2 periods.
Yeah.
Panthers,
How many points they get
Anaheim.
for that? 3 out of 6? Yeah, that's not bad. Let's give them an old pat on the back. Let's give them an old ribbon. You pin that ribbon on?
So
maybe it's one of those sticky ones?
I
What,
thought
Jesse?
we were talking about who played the best.
I'm just going to say.
We are!
We're talking about who lived generously and
team-
deserves to be treated royally.
Was poo and also butt, but there was a player who was not. Because that player, despite being washed up, tradable garbage, got 5 goals in 4 games. Is that good? I need someone to explain to me, like I'm 5, how scoring 5 goals in 4 games is good. John Tavares did that. So much for that little slump there, bud.
Probably should have had a couple more, too.
Yeah, probably should have. You know what, Jesse? You're right. He's getting paid $1 million. $11 million. My brain only saw the one. He's getting paid $11 million. Could have scored 7 in 4 games. 7 plus 4 equals 11. There it is.
Coulda,
7,
shoulda,
1 for
woulda.
every year of the contract. John Tavares deserves it because he's been good and the team has been butt around him.
Do we pay him $11 million, though, for him to score and the Leafs to lose? Like, is there?
No.
There's an obvious direct correlation between John Tavares scoring and the Leafs losing. So, what is it? And why is John Tavares dooming the Leafs to playing so poorly in the third period?
You know, a real captain would take some of his money and give it back to the Leafs cap situation so that they could go out and get Matt Dumba or Alex Pietrangelo or Colton Parayko or a bunch of the other guys they're never going to get. We'll just keep going down that whole list there, bud. We'll just keep going down the list, Adam.
Just
What?
I heard Carey Price was going to come here and play backup goalie.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
Why not?
But only if John Tavares gave back half of his contract.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Only for the right price. Adam, don't look at me like that. Don't. I have been. Listen. Obviously, it was very sad yesterday. That's why I didn't make a video after the Ducks game. Maybe for the best, because I was prepared to say some heinous things about my hockey team
After they won.
after they won.
And obviously very sad because
My wife's grandfather passed away.
And by the way, randomly, and this we should throw this out there, people raised $2,100 in the Marner jar.
Is that how much it was?
Yeah.
unbelievable.
That
For
is
sick kids?
that is the most I don't.
I don't know whose idea that was, but
Thank you. Wow.
thank you.
Holy.
That's absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, people are awesome. So that was really cool. And I was about to scream some terrible, terrible things about my hockey team. And then I realized a win is a win is a win. Mitch Marner looked like somewhat somber after an amazing pass for the game-winning OT winner there. And Tavares was just like, nope, 2 points is 2 points. Ah! And like lost his mind. I thought that was good. But boy, howdy, this team has trouble closing out games.
We don't need to get into that right now. We're asking who wore the crown. So,
John Tavares, who scored the overtime winner.
So my crown is going to go to my favorite comfy blanket. I have a comfy blanket. I just picked up this comfy blanket, actually. I picked it up.
It's fuzzy, but it's not prickly.
It's not prickly. It's one of those things, but you can put it in the wash and it gets more comfy. You know, sometimes you buy track pants and you're like, I don't want to wash these things. I'm going to wait till they absolutely reek, because if you wash them, then they get all pilled on the inside and then they're not comfortable.
Like that all the time, Adam.
Well, no, I wash my track pants because I'm a sweaty boy. So the problem is,
whenever you buy a new pair of pants, your freezer just looks like, finna have that in here.
Jack Campbell. Is my new comfy blanket. Jack Campbell, even though he's been a 900 since coming here, and he was a 900 in LA too.
I think we can maybe throw the numbers in the garbage.
He was a 935 or something last night, but it doesn't matter. The point is, even at 900, even at 5 goals allowed in 2 games, Jack Campbell is an almost 20%, 30% improvement on, 25-point improvement on Michael Hutchinson. And I think Michael Hutchinson was at like an 870 something.
Here's what
so
Jack
even
Campbell,
at 900, that's an improvement.
Let me support your crown. Jack Campbell, here, I want you to tell me if this is easy to do. Is it easy to close out the game when in 2 third periods over the span of 24 hours, your team gets outshot 31-5? That sounds hard. Sounds like it might be hard.
You know what he said in his post-game
What'd he
comments?
say?
Too? This is what I love.
What
this
did
guy
he say?
He said about
what?
About Montreal. He's like, I just have to make one more save, and we get the 2 points. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not happy about giving that one up and giving them life again and blowing that lead in the third. You know, I know my ability, and I'm confident with the team in front of me, and they battled all night. One more save, and we get 2 points. He's new here. He's very new here.
It's a good dude.
But I say this without being facetious. I fucking love having Jack Campbell here.
All I want to do is cuddle him.
I feel so much. It's shocking. It was like I didn't even worry about who was in net. It was just sort of like you watch the games and listen. There was a bunch of other stuff that you can criticize or whatever. Goaltending is not it. And this guy came in, played back-to-back nights, and let in less goals the second night.
I was speaking of Montreal. Maybe it was appropriate that he put on that performance in Montreal. The last time I was in Montreal, Leafs traded James Reimer to the San Jose Sharks. I was very sad that day. Heartbroken. Never thought I would ever fall again.
Is that when you left your laptop on the plane or something?
Yes.
I've forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Jesse had not.
Nope.
Jack Campbell makes me feel like I could love again.
Aw.
Man, it's crazy what a weight that was. Crazy. Jesse, your crown.
We already have Soup. So what is Campbell's nickname?
Well, I was saying it's got to be something stupid hockey, so it's got to be like Jacker.
Yeah. Or
Jackie.
Or Campy.
Camby. Or they could honestly just call him
Camps. Camps is good.
Soupy.
There you got Soup.
No. They could have Soup and Soupy.
Soup and Soupy.
Lipton's.
As the one on the show who lives the most generously, I like to give my crown away to the people. I like the people to tweet me and determine who should get the crown.
Si, senor.
And I was like, I'm so usually I feel like Nylander played the best most games,
right?
But, last 2 games he didn't even touch the ice.
But
I have to listen to the people, and the people are asking for it. Mahesh tweeted, "Isolating yourself when you're sick instead of getting everyone at work sick is an A+ move."
MVP.
Leaf fan 1917 tweeted, He was sick, so Timoshov and Gauthier didn't have to miss a game. That's a team player and a leader."
You know, he got them 3 out of 4 points.
TFCNU tweeted, "He set a great example for all of us by staying home when he's sick instead of getting infecting the rest of the office. Really inspiring leadership."
They should give him a letter for that.
Jared McKenzie, "Not playing through illness at half speed. Kids taking a serious one for the team. That selflessness is hard to come by."
That was the less popular son of Bob, by the way.
Casual Mats, "Give him an A for absent."
Good line. Good line.
That was, and he did it casually.
D_leg911. I heard he pulled a Conway and gave up his spot for Clifford.
Whoa.
I'd give him the crown, too.
Conway. Damn, that's throwing it back.
Sure is.
Amelia, waiting for
Estevez.
Jesse Blake's crown to go to Nylander for sparing his teammates from exposure to illness. Well, that's exactly where it's going, because the people asked for it. Nylander gets the crown for staying home while sick.
Wow.
Good job, William.
Well done, Willie. Well done.
Well
That's Who
done.
Wore the Crown for this week. Brought to you as always by Crown Royal. Next time the puck drops, why not? Live generously
Why not?
and treat your Leafs crew to a Crown Royal Old Fashioned. Now, before you answer this question, I have a question that I posed on Twitter last night. And I intentionally ratioed myself because I think I had like 300 responses and like 100 likes. But it was because it was a good question. Yes, I ask good questions. I asked,
Why not?
and we have to assume that the Leafs are talented because that's off the
Baseline.
table. They're talented. Are they good? That was my question. To be clear, I'm not asking if they will be good. I'm asking if they're good right now. I'm going to give you some responses. Here's what Leafs Nation is saying.
Ooh.
Aaron says they are good, just young and dumber than pie crust.
Fair.
Taylor says they're good, but they're not driven to be great. That's how I see it. Tic Tac Tomar, our buddy. The Leafs
Something
are-
about Dragon Ball Z.
The Leafs are a good team when they're on. I think they struggle with finding balance between attacking but being responsible enough to defend a lead. The third period of last night's game was a prime example. They shut themselves down to maintain a lead.
Oh, Adam, that's ridiculous to use that example because 99 times out of 100,
If we replay the
they
game,
blow the game 3 out of 4 times.
Heart of Lad. I think there are some real flaws on defense. If you can't trust the guy to play defense for you, they're not a good defenseman. I think the assets they spent on Barrie were misplaced. They didn't need another offensive guy with defensive deficiencies. Overall, I think they're a talented team, but there are a lot of players that are playing above their heads. Hall, Barrie, Dermott especially.
That list is not long enough.
No, yeah, you could add more. I think you could add most. Drew, the guy you do hat picks with, Drew Livingston,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
It's
Producer
not really
Drew.
him. He's not real.
And he made a good point. Elite teams usually have a higher than a plus 13 goal differential at this point.
All right.
With the amount of
Fuck
goals-
off, Colorado Avalanche fan. You shut your face.
With the
Shut
amount
your
of goals
goddamn mouth.
they score, they should be higher. They're not good yet. And lastly, and this is from Callie, and Callie, God bless you, Callie, because if I tweet anything, Callie's always the first one to like it. I don't know how she does it, but Callie's on, doesn't tweet a lot,
You sure it's not
but she's...
Kaylee?
No, it could be Kaylee. C-A-L-I, as in California. So I think it's Callie. But anyway.
All right.
If
Steve
it's
knows.
if it's Kaylee, that's a new way to spell. That's a very California way to spell Kaylee.
It's like actually Maisie. She
Something
plays
else.
in
Actually, the
WHL.
C and the A and the L and the I are silent.
Yeah.
It's just that's my name.
Oh, did you say my name?
My name's
Oh, hello.
Imagine every time the room is quiet. What?
Stop saying my name.
God, you guys are rude. Oh, exam time.
how do
must
you
be
say the
torture.
name? It rhymes with pregnant pause.
Regnant gauze?
no, as in
No, I
silence.
know.
Anyway,
I know. It's
Callie
me
had-
trying to contribute to the bit and failing.
Could have added that one joke earlier.
you probably.
Now, did you see how it was going well and then it got fucked up? That's been the last 4 games.
Hold on, we have not heard Callie's opinion yet,
Oh, phooey, Callie.
and I think this is.
lay it on me, Callie.
And I asked
ahead.
for this. I said, please provide your proof. Give me your notes. Why do you think what you think?
Receipts.
And Callie said this. They're on a 109-point pace under Keefe despite only having 900 goaltending. If they keep that pace the remaining games, they get to 100 points. In that time, they're 14th in expected goals against per 60, 7th in Corsi, and expected goals against per 60 is 239. It's a lot. 7th in Corsi, 53.29, and 3rd in expected goal differential. Yes, they are good.
Listen, with your facts there.
She did bring a lot of facts.
Listen.
It made me feel better. I woke up and I was like,
Yeah.
and they did take 3 or 4 points. That's why I started today's show with listen, were they pretty? No, but did they get them? Yes. Since last show, they have had 3 or 4 points.
They're also in a playoff spot.
Are they?
Like, that's one
Yes.
thing that doesn't bother me.
Whoa, are they actually?
They're still sitting the 3rd wild card. Yeah. They're
the
still going to
Panthers-
play a fucking Tampa in the
Boston.
first round.
Panthers
Oh, yeah.
must have lost last night.
Wow.
No, they've won 6 in a row.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Tampa's
So
won
how
6
are the
in a row.
Leafs in it?
Tampa's comfortably in that second Atlantic spot.
The Leafs are 14 points behind Boston.
Yeah, it's disgusting. But yeah, they sit.
Tampa might catch them though. Woo!
And the Leafs are
The
a
Leafs are
hot
gonna play
week
Boston
away
again.
from Tampa.
Woo!
Like the Leafs
okay.
are a hot week away from Tampa. Like who knows? This stupid league.
Stupid.
It's friggin'
This
ridiculous.
league is stupid.
It's gonna be
Stupid.
dope when the Red Wings
Guys.
make the playoffs.
But what do you think about all those opinions? How would you answer that question? Are the Leafs good? I know they're going to be good. I know that they're full of talent. Are the Leafs good? Jesse Blake.
I think if this season was entirely played under Sheldon Keefe, narrative would be completely different. They would be in the exact same spot in the standings, except a little bit further ahead of Florida.
Yeah, it would be like 72 points.
Right, instead of 66. 66 looks not that good right now, but they've clearly proven to be a great team that can score at any will. And if they can just get some damn defense, or Frederick Anderson just stands on his head a couple more times.
Some damn goaltender.
Like,
Or Jack Campbell.
Get some damn
Or Jack
fucking
Campbell.
goaltender.
But the style of hockey they play is one where they have to get the crazy saver now and again. Brian Burke was harping on that on TV. He was saying they play this game where they have to get the magical save at least once a game.
Yes.
So if they're going to play like that, then they better play like that and get the save. And if that's how they're going to play, then that's fine. They're a good team.
It was so
They're a
cruel.
playoff team.
Like Campbell made such an amazing save, and it got whacked out of the air. The rebound was whacked out of the air for the Ducks' third goal.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
Like, and the Delorier goal was so good. Like, that
his
was
second goal of
like
the
a
year.
laser
Even
beat.
the Montreal OT winner, the rebound to Kovalchuk. It was just a great rebound. You know,
Well, that should have never been in the Leaf zone.
Right.
ever.
No, well, we'll get into that. We're not there yet. Don't you
Okay.
go there yet. Don't you go there yet. One thing I noticed with Jack Campbell, too, and I meant to bring this up in the crowd segment, is his rebound control is pretty amazing. Now, he overplayed the puck once with Anaheim, and I get that, whatever. But if you watch the way he kicks rebounds out, they go right to defensemen each time. It's
Yes,
really cool.
Typically.
Yeah.
And he comes out and plays it a lot. He's a very active goalie.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Active without being jumpy.
Yes. Yeah,
You know?
he seems to have it together, which is cool. And listen, there's a lot being made of his first-round pedigree or whatever. The guy's 28, and he's made 60 starts in the NHL. Like, let's relax on
It's
that.
over.
But
That's
this
over.
guy seems like he's got it together, and I'm excited about that part of it. I don't care when he was drafted.
He's
What
an
I care
upgrade.
about is that he's stopping pucks.
I think 10 years after you're drafted, you stop talking about when
The
you were
first-round
drafted.
pedigree.
Come
Yes.
on, let's.
Yeah.
Who
I
cares?
think, and I hate to say this, certain people are lazy. You get behind a microphone, and sometimes it's like, whatever I say here.
Oh, that's where you're going.
So
Oh,
when we-
it becomes the truth. Oh, I know about that. Who are you making fun of?
I don't know. Anyway, let me just ask you. Let me ask you the same question, Steve. Are the Leafs
Sure.
talented?
Yes.
Are they good?
No.
Why are they not good?
Listen.
All right.
Yeah. There it is. Like,
You ready for the boldest statement of the year? Callie provided you proof.
And
Callie,
Steve,
Callie.
if the Leafs aren't good, then what is Detroit?
Good follow-up question. Good follow-up question.
listen. There
are
are degrees of bad. Steve, do you want to eat a bell pepper? Ugh, no, that's bad. Okay, well, it's that or this piece of dog shit. Bell pepper it is.
Say shit one more time.
Shit.
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 It's marked explicit. You knew what you were getting into.
Yeah. I had a parent come up to me at a book signing once and say, I love you on the podcast. You're such a great role model for my kid. And she was serious.
Somebody did
And I
message
said,
me.
are you sure?
Somebody did message me and say, hey, listen, like my kids listen and they're swearing on the show. And I get that. I understand that. But we've always kind of done it this way. And it's supposed to be three guys talking about it as if you talk, it's us talking among friends. And that occasionally includes some swearing.
Speaking of things that we get yelled at by parents for saying on the show, it is worth mentioning, everybody listening, that even though it's February, he does still see you when you're sleeping and know when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. You know?
Can we get back to the
Jolly man with the red suit and the white beard.
Why the Santa thing? Where are you going here?
You don't remember that? Oh, I'm just reminding kids to behave.
Oh,
Right. Because he's out there.
so you're Elf on the
This is
Shelf
good.
in February.
Yes.
Okay,
It was real good.
it's great. I love the direction
I
we're
want to
going.
know why you think the Leafs aren't good.
Yeah,
Good teams don't do what they just did. And listen, there's lots out there. Ian Tulloch was on the radio the other day. I was listening to him after the game, after hockey, where I almost broke my neck. We could talk about that.
By the way,
later, too.
I hope Ian gets paid for all the fucking airtime he fills.
I can assure you, he does not.
Man, like, holy
Yeah.
Ian is a show. He's a walking show with the amount of appearances he does.
Ian, one question followed by 20 minutes of whatever he wants. He's the only guest we've ever had that came prepped with a laptop.
It's great.
It was amazing.
That's what Ian does.
And the point he made is the Leafs are actually roughly, I think it was middle of the pack in terms of holding a lead versus blowing it. And two other teams, middle of the pack, are supposedly these defensive stalwarts. Boston is one, and St. Louis is another. No team is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Teams are going to fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at the... Listen, I'm trying to hold the Leafs to a higher standard. And my unfair, allegedly, standard is the Pittsburgh Penguins. And everything they've done this year. And, you know, we were talking about the Jack Adams being the how are you good? You don't deserve to be good. So you get the
surprise
Jack
of the
Adams
year.
Award. It shouldn't be John Tortorella. He should be nominated for sure. It's Mike Sullivan. They were the number one team in the NHL without Sidney Crosby. Are you friggin' kidding?
And Malkin for like a little bit.
Malkin for a little bit. God knows who's been playing hurt. Jake Gensel is still out for the season as far as I know.
I think there's a better comparable for what the Leafs should aspire to be than even the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Who's that?
Because the Pittsburgh Penguins still have Crosby and Malkin, right?
Yeah, now.
Yeah, they were on alternating days because of their health.
They can weather the storm.
But the Winnipeg Jets, to me, loaded up front with talent, no defense.
No defense.
Every
goalie.
reason in the world to go, well, and Dustin Byfuglien, I
And
don't
all
know.
year without Byfuglien.
Yeah, and with his cap still on the thing, right?
It's like if Riley missed from October onward, which some people would argue he has.
And his cap was on the thing, so they couldn't do anything about
And
it.
they're fighting for a similar spot right now in the West.
They have 61 points. The West is a little weaker this year in terms of points. So they're in a wild card spot right now. And that's a team with far less talent on the back end. They would die for a Tyson Barrie. This is a team that claimed Nick Shore because they needed to claim Nick Shore from the Leafs.
Right.
And you saw how bad Nick Shore played. He was okay for the Leafs.
He was
okay.
fine. It's just
Spezza was
It was
way
him
better.
or Spezza.
And Spezza's
And it
been
started to get pretty ridiculous.
totally. But Mike Babcock said, no,
No.
me.
No.
This is the thing. The Leafs are a good team. The Leafs are a deeply flawed team.
Steve disagrees.
Those are two different things.
Okay, well, you're a good person, Steve.
Yes.
You're a deeply flawed person.
What is my deep flaw?
Well, you've never showed up on time for anything.
Is that a deep flaw?
No, it's not a deep flaw. I don't know. I was
So
just
that's
trying
a flaw. The Leafs are
You're not
deeply
a no. I was
flawed.
trying
It's
to
like
find. I can't really.
Steve can't enter a room without kicking a puppy. That's a deep flaw.
I don't.
None of
I don't
this is
know.
going
Does Steve
over
have
well.
any deep flaws? I don't think so.
No, Steve's fine.
No, you're great, man. I don't know. I couldn't come up with anything. I really
Because
couldn't.
you're making shit up to move the goalposts for this team that choked against the Panthers again. They didn't even have the opportunity to choke against the Panthers the second most recent time that they played against them. They choked against the Ducks. They choked against the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm supposed to give them a freaking cookie? Stop! And let's stop pretending like, people... I saw like, oh, well, the amount of times they enter the third period. And no, that's still moving the goalpost. Let's stop talking about the third period like it's not 20 minutes long. The Leafs record when going into the third period is blah, 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 blah. First of all, it's really good. Second of all, it frigging should be. You're leading heading into the third period. But a game like the Anaheim Ducks game wouldn't fall under that. Or a game like or was it the Ducks game or the Panthers game? There was one where they headed into the third period with a 3-1 lead, and there was one where they scored only a couple minutes in to take the 3-1 lead. In both situations, they duffed it. They choked on it. And they had a 3-0 lead on Carolina. Choked on that. Somehow turned that into a comeback victory. Like, isn't it messed up that the feel-good story game of the season was a game where they blew a 3-0 lead? They had a 4-1 lead on Montreal earlier in the season. Blew that too. Oh, well, that was Hutch. Oh, okay. Like, let's just keep putting... You're going to run out of asterisks, guys.
What do you make of their record then, under Keefe?
I love their record under Keefe, but we're running out of runway here. We're running out of runway. They weren't doing this when Keefe first got here, right? They were finding ways to close out games, not necessarily having to rely on completely ridiculous goaltending. They were getting
You
better
have your
goaltending.
best defenseman out, too, and you've had
Right.
other injuries all season long. Marner's been
One
out,
of them was
Tavares has been
him.
out.
Riley has played like 5 healthy games for the Leafs this year. You know? Like, give me something. Give me some. I will say this, and I think things are about to change. Liljegren and Sandin barely played in the third period against Montreal. That's going to change. Because if the Leafs choke on that with this rookie pair out there, all of a sudden Sheldon Keefe's the one making these wacky decisions. And
I liked those two together, by the way. They both played good games last night.
Yes, correct. They should have been used more in the third.
Yes.
But you need to let the guys ahead of them fail.
So you can...
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's too much to be like, wow, Liljegren actually looks good. Here, let's friggin' throw him into this pressure cooker in his third NHL game.
In Montreal.
with a
Right.
defense partner who is also a rookie and younger and
Yes.
a teenager.
Yep.
And is, those two haven't combined for 20 games. So I think they're going to unleash those guys a little bit more. But, dude, like, we're talking about immaturity. Tyson Barrie's their second oldest defenseman.
Hold on.
The guy plays like he's still in junior.
Hold off on Tyson Barrie for a second.
Why?
James, because it's not in the order of the show, and I'm trying to
Fine.
order this out, okay?
We're still trying to figure out why they're terrible in your eyes.
Good. I didn't say terrible.
Deeply flawed? I said deeply flawed.
Uh-huh.
Steve, you're not deeply flawed. I hope I didn't insult you there.
No, it's fine. I would call myself deeply flawed.
You're not
flawed.
deeply
Fud. Wascowee wabbit. I just... Yeah, my tongue doesn't work. There's a flaw. It doesn't work. It doesn't say words
Why would you...
properly all the time.
It's the...
Adam,
what is
they
it?
cannot close. If this were an office, the Leafs could not have the coffee.
I was just going to ask you. Would they
Coffee
be allowed
is for closers only.
What movie is that?
Glengarry
What's it
Glen
called?
Ross.
That's the one.
I've never seen that.
Alec Baldwin. There's a 13...
8.
You
or
mean
an 8-minute
You mean
scene.
Donald Trump?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There's an 8-minute scene in there, and he's only in it for those 8 minutes, and he won, or he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and I think he might have won.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
It is so good. It's on YouTube. You can check it out. But
Yeah,
it's
he
ju-
won the Oscar for that one
I
speech.
think he did because it was so good.
And I just feel like the Leafs are always the ones sitting at the desk, and the Penguins and the Bruins are walking around going, "You see this watch?
It's cost as much as your car.
Yeah,
That's what he says.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I gotta watch this.
yeah."
Because the guy's because he he was basically just putting these guys in their place. It's amazing. It's an amazing scene.
It's something.
Well, here's
It
what I
is-
want to read to you.
It is dated, but it is something.
Here's what might be part of the problem. After a tough week, this is from James Myrtle of The Athletic. Maybe you've heard of him. The Leafs have now lost 8 of their past 13 games.
Elite.
Goaltending was a
What?
massive... Hold on, let me finish. Goaltending was a massive factor. Anderson was an 884 in that stretch.
Ooh.
Michael Hutchinson, 857. Tell me again how Michael Hutchinson didn't deserve what he got.
Also,
Tell me again.
I've seen,
Tell me again.
I've seen the narrative of people like feeling bad for Michael Hutchison. I was like, no, he got his shot. Like he was the backup goaltender.
I mean, I feel bad that it didn't work out. It sucks that
But
it
you
didn't
feel
work
bad
out.
as a person, anybody
on
who
a
doesn't
personal.
achieve what they want to achieve.
Totally.
Sure.
Like I'm sure he dreamed of being a starter and getting a shutout in every single game, but that didn't happen. You feel bad that things don't happen, but I don't feel bad for the fact that now we've got a better backup goaltender.
Stop it or don't.
Right now we have got Campbell, and it's clearly an upgrade, and I feel good about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that narrative is ridiculous.
But the whole idea that, oh, no, guys, it's the defense with Hutchinson, sorry.
I've been
857, man.
I've been professionally taken out of situations when I couldn't hack it, and it's embarrassing. And I'm also sort of
Glad it was, because it's called setting someone up to fail.
that
and
happened
that's
to me
what
at
they were
CBC
doing.
during the Sochi Olympics. They had me basically doing nothing. Like I was just adding a couple little graphics once an hour or whatever, while my other coworkers were uploading everything to the website. I sucked at the metadata. I couldn't do it. I sucked. And they took me out of that situation and embarrassed me a little because I sucked. What were they to do? They had 2 weeks to pull this off. It's the Olympics. Take out the weakest link and shove him somewhere else.
There you go.
It's what
But
they
if
did.
your task was to make YouTube videos after every Leafs game, you probably could have done it.
Yeah, wasn't my thing.
Right.
Like,
I've never understood why. This is just an aside, and we'll get back into the hockey thing in a second here. Why did anybody hire you and not have you do that? Like, it's so stupid to me. They're like, you know what, Steve? I see that you have this YouTube channel, but how about cutting highlights? Like,
Right.
like why?
no,
like,
no,
just
no. Cutting highlights got me in the door, which then led to YouTube videos,
which is great.
and then there was the lockout, and then some things changed, and then I wasn't doing YouTube videos anymore.
Weird.
That I offered to do for free. I was very mad. Yep.
And
anyway.
then you're gonna set out a prep sheet with just a bunch of scores of it.
Yeah,
That
and
got me
then-
in the door, though.
And you're gonna be,
That got me in the
and you're
door.
gonna be Sophia Jurksovitz, by the way, who now works for the Boston Bruins.
Nesson.
No, or Nesson, excuse
Oh,
me.
no.
Yeah, she's on the road with them all the time. It's
That's
awesome.
awesome. That's a
You're
good
gonna be a
gig.
producer. Like, you would have been good on the air too. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
that.
but there's only it's just like goalies. There's only so many jobs.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying. I wasn't suggesting, but like, Soph doesn't belong.
No.
Screw you, Soph.
No, I got to
by the way,
learn. I got to
is-
learn from her.
You know why I call everybody the nicest person in the world? Sophia literally is.
Oh, very much so.
Actually is.
Very much. No, I got to learn from her. No, here. Let me throw this out there, and we'll see where the blame should maybe lie. Okay.
I think I just nailed it. Anderson and Hutchinson.
I think what Myrtle wrote is what is the
Hold
problem.
on.
Well,
Steve.
let me throw out another idea. Let me throw out another idea. It's February. The Leafs are
Do not launch into Tyson Barrie right now.
nope.
Okay.
It's February. The Leafs are struggling. They're not winning a ton of hockey games. Their goaltending is struggling. They're struggling to close out hockey games. They have a couple defensive injuries, and they clearly do not have the depth to cope. Am I talking about this season or last?
Or the season before.
But like, no, this is startlingly similar to last year.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Where they're like, here you go, Jake Muzzin, and they just throw him in because Dermott and Gardner got hurt, and the Leafs sank like a rock.
Without Gardner.
And the games they did win were 7-5, and Muzzin had to score 2 goals in those too. I said it. Did I not say it? Before they went out and got Jack Campbell, who I like. I like that deal. I like Campbell. I like Clifford.
Yep.
The Leafs' top priority, more than backup goalie, more than toughness, needs to be defense because they don't have it. They don't have it. They don't have a Stanley Cup caliber defense. I'm not convinced they have a Eastern Conference semifinal caliber
Second round. you mean.
defense. Yep, maybe even quarter. It's the number one need on this hockey team. Again, they need to do something.
So Kyle Dubas, along those lines, says that essentially Morgan Riley's got a doctor's appointment this coming week, and that once that's kind of figured out, then they can make their move. Now, the options available to him are limited. He does have $6.5 million, but because the Leafs have used up all their LTIR
And picks.
no, well, not even that. It's if Riley comes back, they can't bring $6 million in. However, if they do the what was the rule? It was it's the Stan Bowman rule from 2015. Where
What,
they
if
held out.
you don't get your faxes in on time, you get fired?
No,
Or
no.
What's the rule?
If you hold your guy out to the first round, it doesn't matter. So
Yes.
imagine you go get the defense you want. It's the Patrick Kane rule.
Yeah,
You go get
if
the-
Riley doesn't play another regular season game, there's a whole bunch of more cap space.
Because here's the thing. I was watching the Tim and Sid interview with Kyle Dubas last week after the trade was made. It was really interesting because he said, they asked him about Morgan Riley and Cody Ceci. And he said, yeah, that kind of throws our thing a little bit because they were going to move Cody Ceci, but now he might be injured. So now he...
No, he is injured. He's out for a
that's what I
month.
mean. Yeah, he's out for a month, so they can't trade him.
My prediction is he never plays another game in a Leaf uniform.
I don't think he does.
No, I think it's over.
I think it's done too. Morgan
what a way to
Riley,
go,
I
but-
think they're a lot more serious about getting a defenseman than they're letting on. I think that Kyle Dubas can't say, yeah, we'd really like a defenseman. Boy, I sure wish we had a right-handed shot defenseman. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows that. But what I find very, very interesting about this is we've heard We've heard nothing about this really happening. There have been a few things. Myrtle talked about it. Luke Fox talked about it. What did
Dylan
Morgan
DeMello
Riley?
is the only name I've seriously heard mentioned.
Matt Dumba's name keeps coming up. Even Elliot Freeman brought up Matt Dumba's name.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if Morgan Riley doesn't play for the rest of the season, there's your cap space for Matt Dumba.
Yeah, and I mean, let's hold out Matthews too and Tavares.
No,
and,
but in all
so,
seriousness,
no, we need the space.
Come on.
No, we
Steve,
need the space.
What are you taking a shot
If
at
he's
right now?
injured, you're not holding him out.
Plus,
he
he's been
needs the
injured all
rest.
season. It could
Right.
This
you
could
have
be-
a fresh Morgan Riley
Right,
in the
there
first
you
round.
go.
No, but we're talking about holding him out like a month longer than is projected.
No, Steve. We're talking about 2 weeks.
We're talking about
Oh,
he's
'cause-
legitimately hurt, and we're just giving him like 3 extra games to sit out because we'll have Matt Dumba.
When does the playoffs start?
I thought you were talking about
First week of April.
First week of April. Okay, so Morgan Riley's been out for 3 weeks. He's got minimum 5 more to go. Minimum.
So we're
That's minimum. Oh my god. So Morgan Riley is going to be out right up until the playoffs anyway. Why don't you just say, you know what, Morgan? And James Myrtle speculated on this, I believe, but I don't think he speculates without knowing. He said he thought it probably will mean multiple surgeries. There was multiple things wrong with Morgan Riley's body, and he said multiple rehab too. Little things here and there that you can rehab before the playoffs. But I don't think Morgan Riley's going to play another regular season game.
Can I start to question the preparation that was put into this hockey season?
What do you mean?
Morgan Riley, that injury better be fresh that you're talking about, the multiple surgeries.
Oh, no, I think there were other things.
I think things have been lingering with him for a while, and he thought he could play through them.
Strike one. Didn't have a backup
But that's
strike two.
you know that's how hockey works.
Yeah.
You know there are guys playing all the time with injuries.
And there are people in the organization whose job is to say, fuck you, sit.
You can't.
And sometimes you can't.
You cannot tell a human being that they have to have surgery.
Right.
Also, if you talk to physiotherapists,
Keep them
most
in
of
a
them will
lineup.
tell you.
We won't play you. We
Most of
won't
them
play
will
you.
tell you.
We'll strip
Steve,
you of
that
your
doesn't-
egg.
that's
We're not playing you.
This
That's-
is the
he'd fire
this is the
file a
firing.
grievance.
This is the firing Babcock discussion again.
Yeah.
But you can bench whoever you want.
You would file a grievance with the NHLPA.
Right.
And physiotherapists
There'd be a lot of grievances
often
going on.
will tell you that people are over-surgeried. They're using it too much now.
Like-
Because it's so easy.
McDavid got the rehab,
Yeah,
and that
but
obviously
long
worked.
term, usually rehab's better for you. It just takes a lot longer. But in Morgan Riley's case, he probably tried to play through it. Probably just didn't work out for him. So he's got to clean up a few things before the playoffs. I don't mind a completely fresh and healthy Morgan Riley. My question is, what takes us from here to there? And I truly believe that not only was Cody Ceci out the door and probably won't play for the Leafs again, I think Tyson Barrie's going to move. And if you see on what we
Interesting.
saw last night, and I just quickly want to mention one thing while we're off the goaltending. I know we're off the goaltending thing, but I really wanted to say this.
Oh, no.
Kovalchuk talked about Jack Campbell because they played together in LA, and he said he was unbelievable. Great pickup by the Leafs, one of the hardest working guys I've ever seen, and a great competitor.
Oh,
They apparently used
High
to hang
praise.
out after practice and practice on each other.
no way.
that cool?
Oh, damn it.
And Kovalchuk with another ice-cold overtime winner
Yeah.
for his son this time. His son, it was his birthday, and he said, Dad, can you score a goal for me? And he did. So, damn, how do you not love Ilya Kovalchuk now?
How did-
Unless you're a Kings fan.
If you're a Kings fan.
Right.
Or a
He's had the
Devils fan.
quickest turnaround of a guy who's having a terrible season into like a hero. It's been like 2 weeks, and all of a sudden he's a completely different guy.
Yeah, I think my theory's right.
Anyway, I think Tyson Barrie's going to move. And let me ask you that. What do you have?
Stat on Tyson Barrie from Dom Decision. I think Barrie is a valuable player, but he should probably be stapled to the bench for 3-on-3 OT.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what? Why though?
Stats nerd.
Why? He's such a talented. Oh, last 5 years he's been outscored 12-5 in overtime and has the league's worst expected goals at 28.
Whatever, stats nerd.
Out of people with a minimum of 50 minutes.
Wow,
I'm surprised
that's
he
Brad.
got to 50 minutes played.
Wow.
If you're gonna allow the other team to score 12 out of
Yeah,
17
the Leafs
times.
did only get one shot in the third period, and then they finally got another one
Inexcusable.
20 minutes later in third minute of overtime, which
Yeah.
directly led to the next goal, which was Ilya Kovalchuk on a bad Tyson Barrie pinch. Now, that brings me to my second question that I posted last night on my Twitter account, and this is some of your answers. I asked, and I want you guys to answer this too. Describe to me in one sentence how it feels when the announcer says, Barrie receives the pass, winds up, slap shot.
Just, you know what? It's not December anymore, so no joy, really. Oh, that's not true. He scored a goal recently, so he's up to 4.
Pamela tweeted me and said, Tyson, please let me love you.
Like, yeah, he's another guy. The Leafs are just full of guys who I've gone to bat for, who I regret going to bat for.
I'll enjoy this more next year when he signs an affordable contract with the Avs and wins the Cup.
Or when he gets traded there at the deadline and wins a Cup. Because he's playing on the third pair or something, because he's a liability.
And Kevin, I agree with. I'm starting to think the Barrie experience is coming to a close soon.
And let me throw this out there.
I stood up for Tyson Barrie last episode. He is getting the points.
Let me throw this out there for a human being who I think is a wonderful guy. Sure seems like a wonderful guy. And every time I watch him play, I go, damn, that guy can do stuff that other people can't do. Tyson Barrie it's like he's gone to the bank and broken into only his vault and just lit the contents on fire. Like that guy's decision making is stunning. And those two as a pair it's like two Charlie Days.
Just what's wild
the card, bitches.
What's the pair?
Dermot Barrie.
It's wild.
That's why
I suggested try it, and they did.
Muzzin Hall is the shutdown pairing, and at the moment, it legitimately is. Sandine Liljegren is conservative, partial send. Barrie Dermott is full send. You have absolutely no idea what they're going to do anytime they hit the ice. And I'll say this. Dermott doesn't look like he has a clue what Barrie's about to do at any given moment on the ice. If one of them has the puck, it's calamity. If one of them has the puck in their own zone with no pressure, even, they don't know what's going on. They have no idea what the other is about to do. It's the worst chemistry I think I've seen in a Leafs D pair in a long time. For the talent that they have, that pairing should be sick.
You know who would be
They
better?
don't know what they're doing.
I almost feel like Martin Marincin would be great because he'd be like, here, Tyson, just take the puck.
Right. Now, but what do you make of the argument that no roster is perfect, that every team has flaws,
Absolutely,
and that Leafs fans have kind of just shifted the narrative from Jake Gardiner over to Tyson Barrie?
Yeah, except there was a section of Leafs Twitter that looked at Jake Gardiner. They watched him every game. They looked at the numbers. And I just look at the Tyson Barrie experience. It's the same. It's the exact same, except he's right-handed, but he's getting no benefit of the doubt. So were we too easy on Gardiner? Or, were certain fans too easy on Gardiner? Other fans were fucking awful to him.
Yeah.
And are we just the opposite for Barrie? He does the same shit, guys. He does the exact same shit.
But then is that just something that's always going to be the case with a hockey team? Because you're not going to have a perfect roster of guys who can always make the correct decision.
Every team has flaws. You're right. It just seems like the Leafs are worse than others, and it may cost them a playoff spot.
I think the reason that it's frustrating is the context, right? Yes, every team is flawed, but not every team is supposed to be elite because the Leafs have too much elite talent to play like this. And that's the problem, is that you've got so much elite talent up front, and there are solvable issues in the back end. You guys can talk to me about the forwards or whatever. Matthews is playing full 200-foot defense. Like he's playing
the
great.
Best hockey of his life.
Tavares
he's a
has been
superstar.
Great. Spets has been great. Engvall's stepped in and been, what has he had, 14 points in his first 30 games.
They got to staple him to the wing.
He's playing center, but he's doing okay. He's not been bad.
No,
but,
I like him more on the wing, though.
But I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, so their centers are playing fine, which really, when we talk about forwards on defense, it's the centerman. Wingers are supposed to stay somewhat high. And if the winger's too far back, then it totally screws you with your breakout plan. So it's really about the centers. The centers are doing their job. Let's just call it what it is. The defense still isn't good enough. Now, I want to read something.
They're playing nervous.
That Ian Tulloch wrote for...
They can't complete a pass either.
I want to read something that Ian Tulloch wrote for The Athletic. Tyson Barrie. I genuinely feel bad for this guy. He's clearly a skilled hockey player when he gets the puck on his stick. Heck, watch his highlights in Colorado. This guy has an elite offensive toolkit. Despite all those strengths, I still find myself asking whether the pros outweigh the cons. Lately, he's been firing a lot of point shots into shin pads or loose bodies or 10 feet wide of the net. He's quickly become this city's Jake Gardiner, in that most hockey dads are yelling at their TVs while watching him. With Gardiner, though, I always argued that the evidence proved that the pros did outweigh the cons when you looked at the shots, scoring chances, and goals and stuff when he was on the ice. I'm hearing the same arguments with Barrie this year, but for the first time, I find myself doubting the numbers. There's an analytics conference in Columbus, Ohio this weekend that's probably going to be upset at me for saying this, but I think the numbers about Barrie are wrong.
Yeah, man.
As in, the numbers might show, but this is not a good fit. And I still think, and I stand behind what I said last episode, I think he has been good for what Tyson Barrie does. But what we've seen the last couple of games, it sort of highlights it. It just takes a thing. This is not a good fit.
No.
And that's why I think he moves. And I think the reason he moves, we haven't heard about him moving.
Interesting.
So at least name one trade rumor you heard ever with Trevor Moore's name in it. I don't know. Trevor Moore is a fringe player, and he would have been. I mean, he was a fringe, quote unquote, fringe player. He would have played for the Leafs all season had he been healthy.
Grunstrom was on the block. I never heard
Jersey.
Jersey made no sense. He's right-handed D.
The only one we heard about was Kadri because he'd been suspended in obnoxious ways 2 times in a row against the same team, and arguably both times cost the Leafs the series.
And then a trade happened and it didn't go through because he turned it down.
Yeah.
So obviously that's going to get out if there's a trade that tried to go through.
But you don't hear about these guys, and they're putting Liljegren and Sandin together, which means they've got the Muzzin Hall thing. They've got the Liljegren-Sandin thing. I mean, come on. Isn't it obvious when Riley comes back? Isn't it obvious?
I mean, Barrie Riley took forever to work. And then it finally got going, kind of, and they had like 4 or 5 pretty good games, and then Riley got hurt. Nah, man. I'm not... There's no way to make this defense fine to me without making a move. And, like, I'm talking about flawed and fine.
So you think Barry's out the door?
I don't know if it's Barrie.
I think it's Barrie
but
plus.
It does have to be someone.
He's going to be part of it.
You should not take trading Travis Dermott off the table.
Interesting.
That guy has got value. He's young. If the right deal comes along that makes sense, like you get a more veteran guy, but they have term, because God forbid you lose Travis Dermott and then he turns into this friggin' stud.
Because he could.
Because he could. He absolutely could. Which might make more sense to keep him. Or maybe you go, well, you're a week or 2 away from getting passed by Sandin anyway. Like, if we're going to do this, let's do this. You know, like, is the Leafs defense 1 move away from, I don't know. What if you traded the whole pair? What is it? What's the move? It's what I said a few months ago. What's next? What's next? Keep it going. Because Clifford, good, made sense. Campbell, good, made sense. Your biggest flaw is still this.
Also, Dubas has been great at just asset management, and if he doesn't plan on re-signing Barrie, why keep him? Because he's a UFA, he's going to go. Why have that on the team if you're not going to have it next year?
I think here's what I'm hoping happens anyway, because Dubas did get a little snippy about this within the past week. I am hoping within the next 2 weeks they extend Jake Muzzin. And then
what did he get snippy about?
Opens the floodgate.
It
wasn't snippy. He just goes, someone asked him about the extension. He goes, I think I've had enough contract talk in this room to last a lifetime.
Oh, I think he was just kidding about
which is funny.
The Marner
Matthews
Nylander.
No, that is what he was talking about.
Oh, okay.
But the fact that he was like, wants to keep it. Yeah, I'm hoping they're closing in on something, and then he can go to work. Because it's difficult to make a trade that looks far enough down the road if you have no idea what Muzzin's going to be making or for how long.
Right. Well, I also think they're looking at Liljegren and Sandin as next year's bottom pair and hopefully move themselves up. But I think they want to keep those two together. And then you've got Hall, who's signed for $2 million. If you get Muzzin signed for, even if it's for 6.
6 for the right amount of years makes sense.
Like for 3 years, 4 years? I think any more than that, you're asking for trouble. But that would be the deal that I feel like Muzzin probably wants 5 years. The Leafs probably want 3, so they probably meet in the middle. And then he probably wants 8, and they probably want whatever. Doesn't matter.
Like
the long story short is CeCe's contract comes off the books, and Muzzin's deal, which is already 4.5, isn't it?
Something like that.
So you have to look at it like it's only $1.5 million raise, so it's not a huge deal. If you can get him for that, I hope they re-sign him. Any longer than 4 years, though, and I think you're asking for trouble. Now, the Leafs also, Luke Fox said this morning that the Leafs may take a run at re-signing Kyle Clifford. I know he's only been here a couple of games.
Which turns the third into a second.
To
the
him,
conditional.
yeah, they said because Clifford is that rare player who can be depended on for a solid bottom six shift and enhances the leadership and maturity of a young room and delivers elusive sandpaper. Why not?
Why not?
Dubas said those guys are not in abundance anymore. Other teams that have players like him, they have some toughness and competitiveness, but they also play well. The price is very, very high. And he's right about that. Kyle Clifford is a useful bottom end guy. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of what does it cost to keep Kyle Clifford.
Well, and yeah, I don't think there was ever a point where Clifford was bad. And the reason we talked about him like, oh, Kyle Clifford, is because they gave him half a decade.
Yeah, the 5-year deal.
You don't give a fourth line player half a decade, right?
But Dean Lombardi did goofy things, so.
Yeah, well, and like Matt Martin. Hey, do you want Matt Martin on this team full of rookies? Yeah, that makes sense. Well, okay, how about 4 times 2.5? What?
Yeah. That was crazy.
If the Leafs give Clifford much more than he's currently making and term, I'm really not sure what we're doing here, because this team is they're priding themselves on finding those bargain bin guys because they have 3 guys making $11 million.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know. I want Kyle Dubas to get my hockey team, it was mine long before it was his, into the playoffs. You know what I mean? Don't you all feel the same? Like, come on. We've known the problem for a long time now. Do the thing, get him in.
He's tried, though.
Try
He's tried
harder.
a couple times. Barrie was
harder.
a try.
Yeah, good. I still defend it.
Muzzin was a try.
I still defend it. Barrie drives me nuts. They'd be fucked without him.
Yeah, but Muzzin as well. You know, it's not like he hasn't gone out and gotten a defenseman.
Keep going. Muzzin was Gardner's replacement, and Dubas got screwed by Gardner getting hurt. He couldn't have predicted that. Mm-hmm. I'm very sorry for that. That was a year ago. What's next?
What are you willing to give up, though?
Next?
That's the other thing.
I already laid out the groundwork. Barrie's available. Dermott's available. If you're not too worried about the back end, Robertson, go fuck yourself. He is the lone untouchable, I would say.
I wouldn't trade Dermott. I'd have to trade from the forwards.
I'd strongly consider it. No, and of course, my preference is to give up one of Janssen or Kapanen.
I don't want to go
Kerfoot, but
I don't want to go into the playoffs with Sandin and Liljegren right now as your bottom pair. You got to have Dermott. Dermott's played 14 playoff games. He's a great player. Yes, he's lighting money on fire, which is great for a team that's going to be cap strapped anyway.
I'm not sure the Leafs can make a move that would convince me they're going to have playoff success right now. Which brings us back to are they good?
Also, Justin Hall is signed for $2 million forever, so he better prove to be a hockey player as well.
He has this year. He's been worth it this year. I think he's been worth it. $2 million, bargain, great. The problem is that if we had 3 Justin Halls back there, this team would look completely different. Because you have, if you had 3 of that, imagine this is a Hut team and you have Justin Hall 3 times. And
now, is it a special Justin Hall where you get the
Justin Hall?
Like Hut?
Yeah.
Where you see some guy with a junior guy, you're like, oh, this guy's team sucks, but it's a special card and you don't know.
Right.
Yeah, and you get screwed.
No, this isn't special.
It's
Justin Hall. This is just a normal Justin Hall card.
It's some
but
kid
you have
who
it
plays
3
for
times.
Saginaw, but he's an 86.
No, just Justin Hall. Actually, Justin Hall. Just him. If you have him 3 times, and Morgan Riley's healthy, I don't think we're even talking about the Leafs defense in the same way. I just don't think it happens.
How many ifs was that?
But I mean,
you don't get your perfect scenario.
But the thing is that we're talking about this massive move that the Leafs need to make. I don't really think that it has to be a massive name. It doesn't have to be. I mean, people.
It's got to be a Mazda 6.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't got to see the thing in Formula 1. I'd like it to have a remote starter and seat warmers. That's it.
Zoom, baby.
Zoom, fucking zoom. That's all we need.
That kid's probably making so much money right now. He's probably an adult right now, just so rich.
So.
Probably.
If they got residuals off the commercial.
What about I'm a big kid now? What about that kid?
Oh, that kid's better be rich too.
That kid's rich. It's like the toy review kid, that kid.
You want to know who's making some money?
PewDiePie.
You want to know who's making some money? Justin Timberlake. Do you know why?
Yeah, wrote that.
That's been for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So did he compose it?
I'm pretty sure. He was a part of that. So
that's 5 notes.
He's doing okay.
Damn.
He's
5
loving it.
notes and how many zeros?
So many.
Hey! Listen, man. I don't know. I'm disheartened by the team. Because it's not even they can't hold a lead. Like, okay, you give up 16 shots in the third period. I am sad, and I am both sad and mad at you. One shot? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do we gotta talk?
What's about that? What is that about? And I mean, like, listen.
Are you sick?
No disrespect to Montreal's defense, but it's not that good.
It's
Like, it's not
awful,
that
actually.
good.
You got one shot in a period against a Weberless Habs defense? Are there injuries? What, all of you?
Jordan?
Jordans? One shot against the Habs and you suck. That's awful. I'm just not convinced they're one move away, unless it's a really friggin' good one. I just hope Brandon Pridham just marches into that office and just duct tapes the phone to Dubas's head. Don't get off until you have us another defenseman, man.
At least we're not the Buffalo Sabres, who
Maron.
at 3:27 this afternoon tweeted out 3-0 Ducks, period, space. 8 minutes remain in the first period. And the ratio right now is, and I'm not kidding on this one, hang on. Now I've just lost it. 182-21.
Ooh! And by the way, in typical Buffalo fashion, the heroic Sabres, they were down 2-0 to the Red Wings, tied it, ended up losing. And right now they've scored 2 goals to bring themselves to within 1 against the Anaheim Ducks.
Oh, so they can still win.
They can
can
still
still
win,
win.
Jesse.
All right.
They're doing it for Dwayne.
I don't think they are. They'd be trying a little harder if they were.
They're doing it for no one. They're
you,
mailing it in.
You watch any of the Oilers game last night?
I
Oilers
saw
Cats?
that horrific injury by McDavid.
Oh my god.
Sorry, can I send you that meme for the show? No? Never mind. Fuck. I derailed the show for nothing. What?
Did you watch any of the Oilers game last night?
No.
Okay. Well, you should have. Because one of the things the Oilers do, and this pains me, because after 5 years of making fun of the Oilers, I can't anymore, but the Oilers literally just go in and outwork people. Now, I know that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are cheat codes. I get it. Mm-hmm. But oh my God, do they work hard? And oh my God, do they want it? And oh my God, are they sick of losing?
It's the difference in the Oilers this year. It's not necessarily that McDavid or Draisaitl took a step. I mean, they're both fucking unbelievable.
They're not injured. That helps.
No. Some of their really cheap guys, especially up front, have come through for them, and that's good. Their season started to go into the ditch, just like it did last year, just like it did the year before, and the year, et cetera, et cetera. Their season started to go into the ditch, and there was a moment where they said, fuck this, we're getting out of it. There was a moment where they pulled themselves out of it with, no moves, no additions. I guess Kailer Yamamoto. But, man, that's not that big of a move. Mm-hmm. It's good. It's smart. It's what they needed to do, obviously. But maybe it's just a different mindset. Maybe it's coaching. Because they really started to put it into the ditch, and they flew out of the thing. They're going to make the playoffs. Does everyone know that? They're making it.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And there's an example of a flawed team that plays flawed games, and you watch them, and it's always an adventure. They'll get themselves into holes. They'll dig themselves out of it. They'll get themselves an advantage. They'll have other teams claw back. It's, never stress-free during an Oilers game. But they're going to make it because they're a little tougher this year mentally.
But will they sell concourse tickets where you can't see the ice, but you can watch the game from a TV screen on the concourse like they did a couple of years ago?
If they make the playoffs, they're going to have 2 tiers of TVs. One for the people standing on the ground and another for the people sitting on their shoulders. Every game is going to have 30,000 people. And we shit on the Oilers for a long time, but I kept saying part of my anxiety screaming about the Oilers, you have Connor McDavid! Ah! If you ever surround him with anything, he's a cheat code. There's no answer for that. And then you give him 4 to 7 games to figure you out. He's going to wreck your life. Like, they should be cup contenders every year. And I don't know, I'm having a hard time saying that they're not. They get into the playoffs and they play your team, you're shitting yourself. Next round, shitting yourself. Third round, shitting yourself. Eastern Conference, and you've seen them max twice this year. Have fun. Have fun.
Did you watch any of the Vancouver-Calgary game yesterday?
I saw the Petterson thing, if that's where you're going.
That's where I'm going. So you saw the Backlund cross-check and the Backlund slew foot.
Yeah, like at least, I mean, the slew foot's suspendable, probably.
I want to shout out Thomas Drance, who, it's nice to have Thomas Drance back. Like, he's been gone forever. But I want to shout him out because he wrote for the Athletic Vancouver. The NHL's failure to protect stars like Petterson is bad for the game.
And he's a Canucks writer, so people can go, oh, I'm a Leaf guy, and that was fucking bullshit. And I got no problem with the Flames, but like, what was that? That was frigging ridiculous. What they let happen to Petterson. And you wouldn't have survived in the 80s. Okay, well that was
that's
40 years ago.
30, 40 years ago now. We can leave that alone.
Yeah, stop. If you're going to talk about the way things used to be, how about you get a bucket, you take a shit in your living room, and you throw it out the window into the cobblestone street. Like, if we're going to talk about things people used to do, Petterson should not be going through that. The cross-check in the back, the slew foot, the getting mushed in the face. I'd love to see what he got a penalty for at the end of that
Yeah,
clip.
I couldn't believe that. Crazy.
Protect the friggin' stars.
And
Don't. We're not even saying take a dive, right? I don't want to see, like, some of the stuff I see in other sports is shocking. I watch soccer for a good laugh. I really try with soccer.
You got to go
because
to
of
the games. You got to see
thing.
them live.
It's great live on TV. You know what ruins soccer? Replay.
Yeah.
The whistle goes, I suppose it was a foul. And then you see the replay and you're like, what a fucking joke.
There was nothing there.
There was nothing there. The NBA's had some really, really bad ones.
And
hockey's had some bad ones too.
The goal in soccer is not to get the call right, because if it was, they'd have more than one ref out there. But the goal in soccer is how can you sell it to the one ref?
Right.
That's the goal. So
by
if you want
looking directly at them,
if they cared enough, and they don't because they're making so much money, who cares?
Yeah.
They're
not lacking up in popularity.
No, they would put another ref out there and they would get a better angle on it. But they don't care. They're making a pile of money, so it's never going to change.
And hockey's got 3 guys out there. And dude, it was off of the first one, the cross check from
two
behind.
linesmen, 2 refs.
Oh, there you go. The first one was a cross check off the face-off. Where are you looking? You got a buddy in the second row waving to him? You send him a puck? It's the face-off.
Well,
Have a gander at the game you're officiating, for fuck's sake.
How do you not see the slew foot? It was right where the play was.
When you watch the supercut, it's like, it's embarrassing.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And here's the worst part. They do see it. They do
So why
see
let it go?
Because fuck it. Like that's I'm pretty sure, because wasn't there an announcement like I want to say 2 years ago where the NHL is like, no, you know what? We want to keep the physical aspect of the game. No one is saying, well, I'm sure there's a couple people. You'll always be able to find a couple people on the extreme. No one on the show is suggesting take the physicality out of hockey. No one on the show, or almost any show, is suggesting taking body checking out of hockey. No. Cross-checking has always been illegal. It's just they started calling it a little bit more, during like civilization. Slew footing has always been illegal. Everything that happened to him in this clip
has always been illegal.
Has always been illegal. And the officials are seeing this. They're not missing it. They're seeing it and deciding it's fine. All right, that's the game you want. I wonder why no one watches. It's so weird. Like, I wonder. Fuck.
Well, and the other thing is, people always make the argument, and you'll see this, be like, the refs have to treat everybody the same. It's the same. No, they don't.
No.
Here's the thing.
If that happens to a fourth liner, call it.
Well,
That's the call.
True. But also,
do your job.
That's
sake.
You can't argue with that.
Okay, if they make the call, refs are, the game is about them. If they don't make the call, it's this circle jerk with all the guys on the bench. And joking around, that is something that just makes me nauseous, and you know that when I see the refs joking around with the players on the bench. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to them. They're not your friends. Dude, you got to have a working relationship. Fuck you. I don't trust you.
I'm not going to
tell trust you.
NHL players and refs how to run their shit that way.
You can't tell.
They're not good at it, so why not?
Well,
they're bad at their jobs. Why not tell them?
Because they have to keep the lines of communication open. I understand that part of it, Steve.
Okay.
I don't think one has anything to do with the other. I think you're conflating 2 points.
Yeah.
They're joking around a lot.
Let them.
Sure.
Signing sticks.
That's not about
Signing
making
sticks.
calls. One of the other things is that he had 0 shots in 19 minutes in the whole game. So, like, this stuff...
He's also injured, right?
He's also injured.
wonder
But he still
how
played
that
19
happened.
minutes.
He's probably jerking around.
Pettersson
He's
going
probably-
a game with no shots. Like, there's clearly a direct relationship between him getting hacked to death all game and his performance. Like, there's a 0 next to his name because of these things that happened that were clearly illegal.
Yeah.
So it's like you're getting in the middle of the game,
And 2
referees,
zeros
by
on
not
the ticket
calling
price.
this stuff.
You know?
Exactly.
I paid to see Pettersson last night.
Right, and because you pay to see those players, they should be protected. And I'm
Exactly.
sorry, not every hockey player is created equal. If someone takes a run at the Stars sell the tickets. I hate to tell everybody this, but it ain't... On the Leafs, Austin Matthews selling more jerseys than Kyle Clifford. And Kyle Clifford would agree with that.
The thing Merrick always brings up on ice surfing is the discussion is, from the league anyway, the discussion is how much of the game do we want to be shorthanded? And if the NHL ever got serious about change, it'll be as long as it takes for the message to sink in.
And then it'll even out.
So Ron McLean talked, he was on Spit and Chicklets recently, he was talking about the 05-06 season, which was the Wild West. It was friggin'
And there
great.
was for the first time, there was 8 penalties a game.
It was ridiculous
per team.
Now that was the problem. There was an overcorrection, and you're going to have that. There's going to be an overcorrection. Every game's going to take 4 hours. It's annoying. Believe me, I get it. It's annoying. But refs got a little more lenient after that. But also, you saw less of the obstruction. So it was a good example, I think, of players and officials meeting in the middle. This is what the game is now. Also, we're not going to be as hard-ass about it. You know what I mean? But this almost feels like we're starting to go pre-2005 with the way things are going.
Well, there's not a lot of clutching and grabbing
No,
going
there's not a lot of clutching and grabbing. Well, tell that to Connor McDavid, right? Because there's this supercut for Pettersson. There's one of these for McDavid every week. I see it.
And the supercut you guys
The
are talking about.
supercut is
Please contextualize.
Scott Oakes summarizing the abuse Pettersson took in the game last night.
And
you
that's
can find it
for
on
Sportsnet.
@Dooley_Matt_ on Twitter. He posted the supercut from Sportsnet.
And there's one of those. If you watch a game, the Oilers lose, you will find a supercut like this. And you could call that sour grapes from Oilers fans. It's probably why they lost.
Well, I remember, wasn't it the Lakers that and Jesse, correct me on this one if I'm wrong, but I believe the Lakers took hours of footage of people fouling Kobe and it not being called and finally just took it all to the
No,
league
I
and
think
said,
you're thinking of the Houston Rockets.
Oh, was it with Harden?
Yeah, no, I think it was just a game they had lost, and then they had filed a grievance with the league and were like, look at all these non-calls.
Oh,
I
really?
do
Yeah.
remember that. Have you seen the Jeremy Lin supercut from a few years ago?
No.
It's stunning. And none of them are fouls, and he's straight up getting punched in the face. In a sport where LeBron can and they call it. So I don't want that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want.
But you don't want Backlund slew footing a superstar.
Yeah, this is the thing. We're not talking about LeBron James getting the benefit of the doubt 99 times out of 100. We're talking about call these two very, very obvious things. Notice I said 2. That supercut's got a lot more than 2 in it. There were 2 that were particularly egregious. Call those.
Can I be honest?
What?
Most of the penalties that are going to be called will be against star players because star players will beat you, and the players that are beaten often cause things that create penalties.
Yeah.
However, So in that regard, I don't mind the Stars being treated differently because they are different. Their play is different, which means that the reaction to their play is going to be different, which means there will be a lot of penalties called in their wake, which I'm fine with.
And there's got to be
the NBA. Like everybody's like, oh, we don't want it to become the NBA. Don't worry. You wish you were that good. You wish hockey was that successful.
Yeah.
You wish as many people cared about hockey as the NBA. You wish you even had 10% of that. You don't.
You wish your hockey team was as popular as the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, where bench players are making $10 million a year.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? You don't want the NHL to be like the NBA? Maybe the NBA's got something going on, guys. And maybe it is the Stars that make the game. Maybe that's what it is. And maybe that's what we've been harping on for 7 years while we're doing the show. This is a problem that, and I agree with you, Steve, completely. Call the penalty as it is. But when people bitch and whine and complain to you about the fact that, well, Petterson always gets all the benefit of the doubt because Petterson moves the play.
Yeah.
Because he does stuff
He
that's
has the puck because
special.
he's better than you.
Exactly. Yeah. So the star players getting treated differently. LeBron, one of them. Why does LeBron get fouled all the time? Because LeBron has the ball.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do? Get better! That's it!
Or accept your fucking leagueman, which is still close to $1 million, and be happy.
Or take your chance and
Who
you might
cares?
get called.
It's just dumb. It's just
you know,
dumb.
I don't
want.
He's playing hard. What?
Also, Petterson clearly shouldn't have been playing last night.
No,
he's clearly too hurt.
Now I'm behind. Was he hurt
Before.
from that?
No, he wasn't hurt. He's been like struggling with something.
Because that one cross check on his back, that looked bad.
It did.
So anytime I see a guy labor on his back, I'm like, oh no.
But
do we know how long he's gonna be out for now?
Oh, he's out?
Is he out? I don't know if he's out.
This
Here's
is
the
what I'm
thing, though.
talking
That's
about,
a
man.
big game. Vancouver is the top of their division right now against Calgary. Calgary has 62 points. Vancouver has 65. Vancouver had lost 2 games going into this, and they lost again last night. They're trying to hang on for dear life in the Pacific. And there is a point spread, which is unbelievable. But if they lose 2 games and the Coyotes win 2 games, the Coyotes are in first place, and the Coyotes currently do not have a playoff spot. That's how tight it is.
We'll try
That's
to help
why
you out with
Petterson's
that.
playing.
We'll try to help you out with
Yeah,
that.
at least,
And, like,
at least play the Coyotes on Tuesday.
You can call this segment Whining and Crying. With the names we've brought up are Elis Petterson and Connor McDavid. No Matthews, no Marner, no Tavares, no Nylander. It's like that's horrible, and it's nothing against the Flames, man. Like that's unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
So Petterson, he sat out Thursday's game with a lower body injury, then was back in the lineup last night versus Calgary, and I think he's going to remain in the lineup going forward. So,
I mean,
Think he's hurt?
Maybe
I think he's a little hurt though.
Yeah, maybe the cross check wasn't exacerbating the injury. Maybe it just hurt to be cross checked in the back.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
with a wooden stick.
We're really not asking for much. We're just not asking for much, but I don't know. What is the NHL? What is the NHL's audience going to look like in 20 years? Is what I always try to ask myself.
Good question.
Because
And then-
we don't want to look. Here's the thing about
Steve, when you worked at the zoo,
yeah.
and kids came in, and there were no Leaf jerseys back then. That's what was so striking to you.
Yep.
Kids would come in with hockey jerseys on.
And hats, yeah, hats.
What were the names on the back of those hockey jerseys? Name some of the names.
Man, for the Leafs,
Not for the Leafs. I just asked for it. I said not Leafs.
Getzlaf.
Yeah.
Taves,
Crosby.
Ovechkin, Malkin.
What do all those
names like
players,
that?
especially in that time, in that era, what do they have in common?
Stars.
Right. There's your answer, isn't it?
There weren't a ton of Robert Cron jerseys, or was that his name?
Any Patrick Coletta jerseys there?
No, I don't
Any
remember.
Matt Cook jerseys? And I'm not
Like,
comparing.
there would
I'm
be
not comparing
more-
Backlund to Matt Cook, but there was some pretty Matt Cook moves going on there with
Yeah.
Backlund. And as long as
What about Brad May?
Brad May, no.
Buffalo, you might
I
get that.
stole his number.
Did you? Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
Brad May, the last Leaf to wear 10. Because I'm around, baby.
yeah.
No. Actually, also, it's retired, and I probably shouldn't be wearing it anymore.
Alexander Ovechkin, if he scores 2 goals within the next 20 gagames, he'll be the second fastest player ever to reach 700 goals.
Stupid.
trailing only Wayne Gretzky with 886 games. He'll be the third player ever to do it. Brett Hull being the other one. And Brett Hull took 1,100 games to do it. Well, Brett Hull finished with that. Just over that. So, I got to ask you. Can Alexander Ovechkin score 2 goals in the next 20 games, guys?
That's a good question.
Is it possible?
How many games?
Because he didn't score last night.
Is there a pro
20
line
games.
thing on this?
Huh?
Is there a pro line thing on this? Like, can I bet on this?
I would wonder.
so.
I wonder if you took the under what it would be.
What the payoff would be?
Yeah, it'd be-
40, you put $5 down, you get $40,000.
Yeah,
Something like that.
I'd put $5 down on that. I could lose $5
yeah.
over that.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Just to go LOL, I did it. Yeah, no, he's so goofy. The video went up today on Sportsnet's YouTube channel and also their Twitter account. What do you think Alex Ovechkin could beat Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record?
I think he can.
No one gave a hard no. No, there were a lot of humming and hawing, but a bunch of them just straight up said yes.
You said it a couple of years ago when people said you're absolutely nuts, and then you wrote an article for Sportsnet about it. I remember that. It was great.
Here he is, and yeah, and my article had like his goal scoring production going down built into it, not him being on pace for 60. The fuck, like no, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. There was a Pittsburgh radio personality, and this bit gets brought up often on the show, that blindly accused Alex Ovechkin of being on steroids. That made no sense. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if someone out there, probably from Pittsburgh, came out and suggested it again. Because now he's Roger Clemens and he's getting better as he ages.
Wasn't said personality part of a sports entertainment organization that's known for that kind of thing?
I don't know. I mean, listen, it was Steigerwald. And
it wasn't Steiger? Oh, I thought it was Mark Madden.
No, I
Who
mean,
was
Mark
in the
Madden was probably
WCW.
like, great point. Been saying it for years.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not saying that Mark did, but isn't that kind of what... Isn't that kind of what...
You think Alex Ovechkin is clean, scoring all these goals as he gets older? Get out of town.
You have to throw in the Russian thing in there.
Yeah,
The doping scandal and all this stuff. Yeah. If you're going on a rant about that gets in there.
Look at his country.
Yeah.
They can't even participate in the Olympics.
Not even a country in the Olympics.
No,
Yeah.
but we laughed about it years ago, and now I'm watching him on pace for 60 at this age. I'm like, you might be on roids.
Can you guys name the 8 players who have already scored 30 goals this year?
No. Yes.
Ooh.
Pasternak, Ovechkin, Matthews.
Yep. Jack Eichel.
4. Pasternak, Ovechkin, Matthews, Eichel. 4.
Probably Draisaitl.
5.
McDavid.
6.
Oh, hey, okay.
2 more.
Has Tavares got there yet?
Nope,
No, he
he
hasn't.
has not.
Slow start for Tavares.
Yeah, he
Nylander
did have that.
has.
Yeah, he did. He
Missed
did.
some time.
Hasn't been scoring as high. He's
Who else is
great.
scoring up? Nathan McKinnon?
Hey, 7. One more, gentlemen.
Malkin.
No.
Damn.
Malkin?
Malkin?
That joke is still going, by the way, which is one of the most ridiculous jokes of all time on Twitter.
Malkin? That started in like 2009. Brian Rust. No. I don't know.
Jake Gensel. No,
One more guess. In Eastern Conference team.
I feel like it might be Florida. Anyone on Florida? Hoffman hasn't scored that many yet, has he?
No.
Wouldn't be Barkov.
He's Adam Wild's favorite player because he said this coming decade he may be the player of the decade. If you remember from our New Year's videos.
I don't.
Adam Wild named this player the maybe future one of the best players of the next decade.
And I believed it so much I can't even remember it.
Yeah, and he had so much confidence in this one player that he does not remember who he is.
It turns out I'm right.
Well, he
'Cause
has 30 goals so far this
I
year.
actually don't remember.
Sebastian Aho.
Of
Yes,
course.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
The
man, I'm
top-
telling you, Sebastian Aho is...
He's legit. He's one of the more
He's
underrated
legit,
players
yeah.
in the league.
That's a guy that should be a star that isn't a star because... I mean, he's a star in Carolina, but he should be like an international name. Like, he should be huge. And it's
He's a big name in Long Island. Because they got another one.
wrong Aho.
Wrong, I know.
Yeah, I know.
No, he's one of the more underrated players in the league. He just doesn't get the love.
Top 10 in scoring. Austin Matthews, Ovechkin, Pasternak, McKinnon, Eichel, Draisaitl, Aho, McDavid, Panarin, Kyle Connor.
Kyle Connor.
There you go.
One of these things is not like the other.
26
Kyle
goals.
Connor, there's
No,
another
I know.
underrated player.
I know. I know.
Why are you such a prick?
By the way, apparently Winnipeg's one of the two teams, Vegas and Winnipeg, in on Chris Kreider.
Ooh.
Which is surprising me because you would think Winnipeg would want to target defense, but I guess maybe it's like, our defense seems to be working okay.
Yeah, let's just stick with what we know.
Neil Pionk and his Merry Met.
Boy, having to deal with Stone and Kreider for 4 to 7 games sounds very unfun.
Ugly.
Yeah.
If the playoffs did start today, Winnipeg would be playing St. Louis. That would be
That'd be fun.
grinding series.
Wow.
Again, that's what happened. That was the first round last year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I may or may not have had St. Louis losing.
St. Louis
can't
plays
remember.
a pretty
I think we all
grinding
did.
game, too. Want to quickly shout out, as sad as it makes me, the U.S. beat Canada at the rivalry series in Detroit.
No!
Yeah, but more importantly,
And what is this?
this is a rivalry series, it's women's hockey rivalry series.
Ah.
Megan Bozek, not Bozak, scored the goal in overtime.
Garbage.
The game drew 13,000.
That's good.
That's more than the Sens average attendance, and I think a couple other
More
teams.
than
the
Florida Panthers
Islanders,
average attendance?
probably.
New York Islanders?
I don't think the Islanders have that many seats. Sorry. The game drew 13,000, surpassing the previous mark of 10,000 for a 2002 game against Canada in Detroit.
So they're best in 18 years.
And this was in Anaheim, California. Not bad, huh?
Wow. For a place that doesn't have snow.
At all, ever.
At all.
Snow what?
Ever.
People are into it.
Except for, have you seen the weatherman in LA falling down in the snow?
No.
No,
It
Did
is
they get
far
snow
away.
in
very,
LA?
very good. He's taking a selfie video and he just completely yard sales in the
Wait,
middle of it.
but I guess they get it in the mountains or the hills outside
Yeah,
of
it
LA.
was. I don't
They don't
remember
get
if it was
in-
exactly LA, but it was somewhere where there usually isn't snow, and they were like, "Wow, take a look!" What?
In LA, if you've ever been in LA when it rains, which is rare, it's wall-to-wall coverage. They've got like 14 morning shows that are television morning shows, and it's either they get the helicopters out when there's a police chase, and then they get the helicopters out when it's raining.
Thanks, Tom. You'll hear that loud hiss. It's actually the paint melting off the helicopter.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Something a little bit more of a serious story. Boko Imama. You may not know the name, but he is the person, unless you're paying like really close attention to the AHL, he is the person who Brandon Manning of the Oilers farm team affiliate, he was the one, I guess, on the receiving end of the racial slur. Now, Manning took responsibility for it after the game. He was
Suspended 5 games.
Suspended 5 games, and last night they played against each other. Boko Imama and Brandon Manning fought, and Imama had a Gordie Howe hat trick, a goal assist in a fight. You guys saw the fight? The fight was a doozy.
Manning did not win.
No, very much not win.
No, he got his ass kicked. I was confused because some people were like, "Good on Imama," because he obviously started it, which would be my assumption. Or I saw a couple of people go, "How dare Manning do that?" And I'm like, I don't think Manning wanted that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, whatever. He got his ass kicked and can't say he didn't deserve it. So, haha. There you go. That's just a little, I don't know. That is. But that's not.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit pre-show, and I was saying I don't want this to be framed as like, Imama, he beat him, and now the issue's over. 'cause they
Racism's
solved
done.
like
Racism is solved. G.I. Joe.
like what Brandon Manning did was so disgusting, and
Yeah.
there's nothing good about it, and there's so much a larger discussion that needs to go into that. And I feel it was just people on Twitter are just like, yeah, he beat him. We won the race war, and it's like, no, I don't. So I just,
Well, I want to thank AHL Hockey for bringing the two races together.
Right?
Finally, we can be at peace.
they settled this on the ice, and I feel like that's such a poor way to frame this story.
Yeah, well, yep.
All right,
It's done.
they fought.
Like, I mean, it might be done between those two. Like, I guess. But, like, that's not. It's.
You didn't solve the
No.
problem here by beating him up.
It's just the way you frame it.
What did Steve say? It's
tragically funny.
Icism?
Oh, no, Adam, before the show, Adam thought I said iceism is solved. And he's like, that's so clever. And I'm like, that's not what I said.
There is.
Anyway.
It's weird. There is that framing going around that's a little bit like, wow, well,
Good on
that's
him.
the way to solve it. It's like, well,
I mean,
The way to solve it is to continue to try and fight to eradicate racism in society.
can I laugh that he beat him up?
Yeah, 100%.
There we go. Uh-huh.
sure. Yeah. And it'd be nice if Brandon Manning showed up at, I don't know, some events that, this summer when he's got some time to,
Yeah.
show that he's educating himself and that he is, allowing himself to understand the effect that a word like that could have on
Receipts.
I hope
The
Brendan
last
Manning
we got
doesn't
before.
think, I fought him. Like, there it is. We did it. I let
know
him. He beat me up. We're even.
Listen, guys, I said one of the worst words in the English language, but he punched me in the face a couple times. So that means we're good. We're good now.
Yeah, got beat up for being racist.
I'm going to go home.
I mean, yeah.
Probably
That's how that
should've.
works.
Goes home. And by the way, I doubt Brandon Manning thinks of
yeah.
it this way. It's really unfair.
Very
to
funny.
Put it on him like this, but
No, well, we're playing Guess Who about what he said. He didn't say the Bill Peters word, flick. He didn't, okay, let's keep... Oh, sorry.
yeah,
the whole
it's
thing
true.
was a
It's
mess.
true. It's a total
God.
disaster. I wasn't even sure whether to bring it up, which is why I was like, guys, should we bring this up? But I think it's important. We do have to talk about it. And you know what? It's nice that, and this has happened before. Apparently, I think PK had somebody PK called somebody out for the same thing in the AHL, and I think in like 2009. Look up the name.
People think they can get away with shit in the minors.
Yeah, it was Chris Barch for an
Oh.
alleged comment toward PK Subban. So I don't know if you remember this. What's interesting about this is that Chris Barch played for the Panthers apparently, but
I remember. And
2012, it says.
here's what he said.
so that's a few years into PK's career.
He asked, I guess because there was a thing where he thought PK dove. He said, "What, did you slip on a banana peel?" And then after the game got into it. And it's funny in the way that now Chris Barch said that had nothing to do with racism. I don't know. I don't know those things. I don't know that thing. It doesn't look good. We'll put it that way. Interesting though the way that stuff's covered now versus what it would have been then. Because then it was like, well, man, that's an isolated incident. And now it's sort of like, oh, no, these things aren't as isolated. It's all kind of come to the surface.
Wasn't Craig Berube straight up suspended back when he was a player?
Was he?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know that.
The head coach of the reigning Stanley Cup champions was...
Suspended for that?
It was either suspended or fined, yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. And I don't think he made a banana peel comment.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Interesting. Anyway, maybe I'm missing something here. I'm changing the subject.
Sorry.
I am changing the subject.
I know.
Maybe I'm missing something.
What are you
here.
missing?
Is it weird to you guys
Yes.
that Jean-Gabriel Pageau, who has 22 goals for the god-awful Senators, is it weird to you that the Senators have not reached out to him to talk about an extension at all?
I have a feeling... So, I've come to accept that there's what's out there and there's what is just untold.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time believing Pierre Dorian is so stupid that he would not think to even reach out to Pageau for a contract extension at this time. What I'm betting happened is Pageau's plans are currently to test free agency.
Elliot Friedman said last night they have not talked. They
I
have
just have a very difficult time believing that.
It wasn't even... No, but he would have said...
What do you do all day?
No, because then what Elliot Friedman would have... Yeah, exactly. But Elliot
Right.
Friedman would have said, hey, listen, if they've talked, the Senators reached out, Pageau wants to test free agency. That's not how he phrased it. He
True.
phrased it as they have not spoken, have not had a conversation.
If I'm JGP, I sit there and I say, I'm having the best year of my career at 27. There's no way I'm re-signing with the Ottawa Senators right now. I don't even need to
27.
talk to you. I don't think they've talked. I think he doesn't think he needs to talk. Trade me if you don't want to have my asset, if you want to get something for this asset. But I'm going to sit there on July 1st and see what else everybody wants to offer me.
Okay, so we're going to play a little role-playing game here. Okay. Jesse.
Yes.
You are Pageau's agent.
Aye.
Steve is
My
Pageau.
name is Craig.
Your name is Craig. Craig the agent.
My name is
I am
Jean-Gabriel.
Pierre Dorian.
Yes. PD.
Ring, ring, ring. Jesse.
Hello.
Sorry, Craig.
Who is it?
Craig.
Craig.
It's Craig, agent.
Hey, Craig. We want
Who's
to
on
talk.
the phone?
We just wanted to gauge your
Craig,
interest on.
I'm talking to your GM.
Oh, okay.
I want to gauge your interest on Pageau staying in Ottawa.
I take offense to you even offering you asking this question. He is not coming back to Ottawa. My name is Craig Agent.
Okay, thanks, Craig agent. Click. That's a conversation.
Yeah.
If they were to not have a conversation, that means Ottawa hasn't even picked up the phone.
I think him saying no conversation is them saying we won't re-sign with you.
Because if I'm Dorian,
you think
I
he
want
hasn't
at
even
least
made
to know.
this.
I want them at least to know that I fucking called. Right now, it doesn't even look like they fucking called.
Is it possible this is one of those things where both parties are looking at the season he's having and going, let's see where this goes? Because
Ottawa doesn't have that option. Are they aware of that?
this is
Do you
where
know how long this is going to take?
that's where I'm at with Ottawa. If Ottawa could re-sign Pageau, I agree with you. I don't see much incentive there. The fact that he's 27. Ottawa should re-sign him, and they should re-sign Duclair.
Yes.
And you can get
You need somebody.
Do you think?
Yes.
But what if he's like, I want $7 million?
Okay.
Who's this, Pageau?
Pageau.
You don't even have,
You're gonna
you don't even have a
pay
PR department.
You're gonna pay Pageau $7 million.
It's getting
Guys,
to
the guy's going to
NHL
score 30 goals.
The NHL is getting to the point where a second line center makes $7 million. But they're the Sens. And like at
Right.
some point
Somebody's got to stay, though.
you
guys.
gotta,
but how-
yeah, someone has
You're gonna
to stay.
you're gonna charge $20 for a hot dog to make up for that money?
I don't know, man.
You'd have to have
The
people
Leafs
at the
do it.
game.
Like, I don't know. No,
Now, listen.
I don't know if Ottawa has the money to spend that on a second line center.
Listen, the guy's career best is 43 points in 82 games, and that was 5 years ago. He is 34 and 53 this year. 21 of those are gold. He's okay. He's a good player.
good blur.
Good blur.
How many points did he have?
He's got 34 points in 53 games.
Okay.
He's not going to get $7 million. But does Pageau think that he's going to get more money somewhere else? That's my other question. Because I have to be honest with you. Who's more desperate than Ottawa to keep a guy like that? And who is going to go and give him that kind of money?
Ottawa does not operate like a regular hockey team. That's the problem. Right? That's a big part of the problem. And keeping him would be a step in the direction of we do operate like most hockey teams. But like I just look at what they're doing and I'm like, at what point are you ever going to be serious about winning? They try real hard every night. That's not a problem. Looks like they have a couple goalie prospects now. Brandstrom and Shabbat are the future on the back end. Cool. Up front, you got Brady Tkachuk. Cool. Like, you just need
That's like three guys.
so much more than that.
That's not a team.
Like, and now part of me
Even if you
wonders,
get Lafreniere, are you going to let Lafreniere go up against the big boys next year as the top center?
and maybe Quentin Byfield. Like, who knows? San Jose could gift them the old 1-2.
Oh my God, yeah.
Maybe the Sens' future looks so up in the air because they don't want to make any plans until that's an enormous factor. The fact that they have potentially 2 top 4 picks, right? So, but wouldn't you want to then shelter those guys?
That's what I'm saying.
Or-
like the thing is
yeah.
that like, do you want them starting their first NHL game as that 18-year-old as the top center in the NHL? I don't care how good Lafreniere is. Is that what you want? I don't
It's a
think
little
so.
weird that if you're Pageau and they call you now, you know they want you bad. So you ask for a ridiculous number and they say no. That's how it goes, right? So maybe they're both figuring, let's just wait on it.
the wording from Elliott's like crazy
It's
to think about.
pretty
And
obvious.
I believe
that-
him.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, no, me too.
No, listen, you have to call.
Mm-hmm.
You have to call.
Adam,
The,
you're smarter
the
at business.
Senators do not have any cards. Like, it's one thing you say, well, if they call now, then he's going to ask for a ridiculous number. Pay him.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. I don't think this is like, you look at this team. Okay, the highest paid player on this team is Colin White,
Oh,
475.
I forgot about him.
Me too. The second highest paid player is Artem Anisimov. And the third highest paid player is Nikita Zaitsev.
Now, next
Guys.
year, Shabbat's thing kicks in.
Yeah.
So he'll be making 8.
Okay, but that's not this year.
No.
Don't forget Craig Anderson at 4.75.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we just named 4 guys making over 4.5, and one of them are good.
Which one?
White.
Yeah, Colin White's good.
Okay.
Guys, the problem here is
Anderson
that
is on and off.
there is nobody else. There is nobody else on this team that can handle those kinds of minutes that they're going to need to be able to. You cannot throw, if it's Byfield and Lafreniere, if you have them both, you cannot throw them to the Wolves like that. It's just not fair. You will kill your development in its tracks. And you can go and say, oh, I could go sign a $700,000 center. Okay, so you go sign the $700,000 center. Let's say it's somebody like Jason Spezza who wants to come back to Ottawa and make league min and just say, listen, I'm
get traded.
Yeah, or I get to come home, which is cool. Good for you. But are you going to say to Lafreniere, hey, listen, we really don't want you to be the number 1 center. We've got Joe Schmo on a 1-year deal making $700,000. He's going to be the number 1 center, and you think Lafreniere is going to be okay with that? You got to keep that into consideration as well. These kids are young and they are confident. And they're dumb enough to think that they can handle the NHL for 82 games and the physical grind. And I'm sorry, but you see it with 18-year-olds all the time. It doesn't matter how good they are. They always have a crash. There's always some sort of, it was...
There was a great point, I think it was Craig Simpson yesterday, on the season Nick Suzuki's having and why it's particularly admirable, because it's not out of the ordinary, even for a good 18-year-old to be healthy scratched a few times, just so you can watch tape and watch the game from above. And he hasn't gotten any of that, and in fact, his role's gone up. So he's unusual in that regard.
Right, and everybody's going to say, well, Matthews and Marner and Nylander had good first rookie years. Yeah, sure, they did. And actually, in their second year, Marner was playing on the 4th line. But remember, they had James Van Riemsdyk and Tyler Bozak
There were other
and
guys on
Nazem
those
Kadri.
teams.
Yes, they were good hockey players. I just named 3 guys that are probably better than Pageau.
Brady Tkachuk's fighting heavyweights, and he's 20. You know what I mean? I don't know. Adam, you're good at business. What is Dorian potentially thinking by not picking up the phone?
Dorian's being told not to pick up the phone because they don't have the money. If this is a negotiation tactic, it's a bad one. If you think that not calling the best player on your team when you're about to get potentially 2 at least top 10 picks and saying, hey, listen, we want you to stick around. What are these guys walking into? Let's say Lafreniere gets drafted by Ottawa and Pageau has even left. What do you say to this guy? What do you say to keep him around? What do you say you're building here? What do you say you do here other than sell off assets?
I just don't know what the plan is there.
Well, I mean, listen, they would get a lot for Pageau. There's no question.
Yeah, and Duclair.
But
there's a player who I just feel like he's pinged around so many times, and he's really having a career year.
Yeah,
it's an opportunity to both cash in and put down roots. And I just think that'd be so good for him. But I just don't know what the Sens are thinking.
If you're Dorian, too, something you can use in your negotiations, if you're going to try to sign Pageau, is they're like, well, he's career high in goals. And your point to them should be, somebody's got to score him. Look at Ryan Dzingel last year. Right? Now, Pageau is a much more useful player than Dzingel was.
Yeah.
But Ryan Dzingel had a career year, left the Senators and scored a goal with the Blue Jackets. And he's with the Carolina Hurricanes and haven't heard much from him. But
I don't think I've heard his name all season.
So you have that if you're negotiating. But I just think if he walks away, what exactly are you building? What culture have you built? And that's why it's a completely separate thing if he doesn't want to stay. But you haven't picked up the phone. If you don't call, you don't know. And if there's been no conversation, that means there's been no call, which I would squarely put on the Ottawa Senators.
What saves them? We keep talking about them holding on by a thread. What saves the Ottawa Senators?
New arena.
Yeah, I honestly think there's 3 answers, actually. One is a new owner, 2 is a new arena, and those might actually be one thing, right? Because they come hand in hand.
Yep.
And the other is Lafreniere.
Yeah. But
That's the
you
only...
need 2 of 3.
Boy, that's a lot.
Because they can get Lafreniere, but you need 2 of those 3.
You're still relying on a lottery ball
new,
to give you Lafreniere.
You don't even need a new arena. If you got a new owner, they'd pack that place.
But if you had a new owner, you'd get the new arena.
Sure.
And you'd pack the place.
But if you had a new owner who came in and said, listen, we can't afford it, we don't have a deal in place yet, but at least I bought the team and I'm ready and we're staying in Ottawa, that place would be packed tomorrow.
I can't wait for hockey to take off in Ottawa.
Honestly, no, you think Ottawa Senators, they would be like they would throw a Eugene as a gone party. They would. You know they would. They bought billboards, for God's sakes.
Yeah, it's messed up.
And the NHL has to know, this is where, and it's a lot different than the Donald Sterling situation, but in the Donald Sterling situation, the NBA stepped in and said, you need to sell this team because you're bad for the league and we can't have you here.
Is it a little bit like James Dolan?
Well, James Dolan, yeah, I mean, they can't get him to sell the Knicks. At what point does the NHL go, you're damaging our product, you need to go? It's not the same type of damage, but it's still damaging. You're damaging this team in this market.
The Ducks held on to beat the Sabres. BT
okay,
Dub.
good.
BT Dub, I was updating that game.
I don't know, just a question, just a thought.
Yeah, I see 3 potential ways to save the Sens, and it's 2. It's bleak, man. It's bleak.
All right, let's do the press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
This weekend on headlines, Elliot Friedman and Chris Johnson reported that there have been talks between the NHL and the IIHF on getting terms for the Olympics, getting NHL players in the Olympics for 2020, what year? 2? Uh-huh. And then the NHL and the NHLPA will meet in Toronto on Tuesday to talk more about inserting some rules in the CBA that will allow the players to go to the Olympics. Do you guys think the NHL players will go to the next Winter Olympic Games? And how do you think this is going to be resolved?
I think, well, first off, I do think they're going to go because once they solve this issue, they're going to be able to solve the CBA issue. They're going to be able to find an extension for the CBA as well. Although escrow seems to be a bit of a sticking point for some players, a lot of players are just kind of, that seems to be it was funny that was the big hang up. And they were talking about it on headlines and they're like, well, listen, if we can just get them to the Olympics, it seems like we'll have a deal. And it's funny because they didn't talk about escrow at all, but I wouldn't imagine the NHL would willingly give up any percentage of escrow. So it's one of those things that it's like it affects like 2% of the players. Like who's going?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's mostly American
few.
and Canadian players in this, in the NHL. Mm-hmm. Majority of them are not going.
Sweden.
No, majority, but it's majority American and Canadian here.
Oh, right.
Right? Okay. Yeah, I understand there are Swedes in the NHL.
Yes.
But in the NHL, in the NHLPA specifically, there's like, it would affect very few players. So I'm finding it funny that that would be the thing that would get the players to move.
I was looking this up. Tweets from super Twitter agent Alan Walsh. Per report on Hockey Night, the IOC and IIHF have addressed all of the NHL's major concerns with sending players to the Olympics, including travel expenses and marketing rights. Bettman's long-running phony excuses for not sending players has just fallen apart. So, we're back to what it is. Bettman is holding NHL players hostage on the Olympics by demanding a significant CBA concession in a trade to let players go. Bettman is getting everything he wants. No more phony excuses. # let them go. Arr, said Alan Walsh.
Oh, Alan Walsh.
Arr. I don't know. Like, it'd be dumb of me to be like, Alan Walsh is right. Just because, he's got a dog in the fight too. He's an agent. He wants money.
But what does he make off of players going to the Olympics? I guess they're TJ Sochi, right?
Well, if they make a concession and it comes out of a, who knows? Who knows? It's too complicated. I hate it. You know me. I always go hearing all this shit.
Fair enough.
If the show ever goes to lockout, I don't know. It'll be you talking and me struggling to understand.
We'll just do we'll just start from season 1 of South Park and we'll break down each episode until
any NHL story with Gary Bettman at the forefront of it sucks.
Yeah.
That's on
Sucks.
purpose.
Yeah, it's no fun to talk about, and it's barely possible to understand. I don't like hearing from them. I don't like reading them. I don't like looking at them. I don't like them. Are you going to the Olympics or not? I don't know. Like, that's a good report. It's legitimate information. We haven't heard about it in a while. I would like to see a bit of a change in how CBA talks are talked about compared to 2012, because that was torture. That was freaking torture. It sucked all the fun out of the entire universe. Mm-hmm. Are you going to go play Super Funsies hockey in the Super Funsies time, known as the Olympics, or are you not? Don't talk to me until you have a yes or a no. I don't give a fuck.
All right.
There.
Helmy40 on Twitter, or on Twitter, on our Reddit page, has put together a list of who everyone has given their crowns to this season.
Oh, wow.
We now have analytics for our crowns.
I love it.
Steve has given 8 crowns to Matthews.
Really? That's
Yes.
high.
And 3 to Anderson. Those are your top 2 crown givers. Yeah.
Really? That's interesting. That's
Yeah.
higher than I thought.
Adam, do you want to take a whack at your top 2 crowns that you've given out? The 2 players are tied at 4 crowns.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So wait, what was Steve's again?
Steve gave his most crowns to Matthews. He gave 8 crowns so far to Matthews, and
think
he's given
that's-
his second most is 3 to Anderson.
And this is tough because I usually get first pick, Adam gets second,
Yeah.
right?
No, I think that's fair, though. I mean, if I wanted to pick Matthews and you picked him, I'd pick him too.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't care. I don't do it differently on purpose.
Oh, okay.
I just go, here's a different reason.
Yeah, same.
I'm going to...
Adam, who do you think you've given the most crowns to? 2 players are tied.
Freddie, I think, has got to be one of them.
Freddie is one of them.
I'm going to say Adam gave most to Mitch.
Mitch Marner. Interesting.
Is that both of your guesses?
Yeah.
It is incorrect.
Who is it?
Adam has the exact same top 2, Matthews and Anderson.
Hey!
You've
all
given
right.
Matthews and Anderson
Which-
both 4 crowns.
Given their importance on the team, should be the case.
Yeah.
I have given Nylander 34 crowns.
Ah.
The second place is no one.
I'm surprised the highest I've gone is 4 with one particular player. Out of 34?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I want to know, okay, so Nylander is obviously first.
I can give you more stats.
Yeah, oh yeah, I want to hear more. So we know
So-
Matthews is second.
Now we have our crown leaders. So overall, like combined numbers.
Willie is 34.
First place, William Nylander with 37. Because
Oh, 'cause I've given him one.
You've given him some crowns. Matthews is in second place with 12.
That's a lot.
Frederick Anderson has 8.
That's a lot.
Jason Spezza with 4.
Dude,
Fourth place?
He's
Wow.
had some
Deserves it.
crazy games.
Yeah, and then Tavares with 3. Tavares, Moore, Sandin, Enval, Hall, Makayev, all 3.
More?
Trevor Moore got one.
Yeah, he's gotten 3 crowns, yeah.
You know what? He was so good at the beginning of
He
the season.
was. He was
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
good.
3 crowns. Notable mentions of people who have also received crowns. Babcock has 2. You might want to take those back.
Listen, he probably did deserve them. I'm not.
Yes.
Come on, he probably did. We were probably like, come on, Mike. Come on, do it, Mike. Come on.
Hutchison has 1 crown. He has
That was
one.
probably recently, too, because he was.
It probably was.
Surprisingly, all year, Mitch Marner has 1 crown.
Oh,
Really?
That's
for,
bad. That's
combined
not,
for this whole season.
That's unacceptable.
Me or
That's not-
him?
I can tell you.
I think it was me.
Give me the numbers
know.
there, stats guy.
Mitch. That was from Steve.
Oh, it was from Steve.
Steve gave out that 1 crown to
Adam,
Mitchie.
unacceptable.
Adam,
That's
why
Yeah.
don't you like him?
I love Mitch Marner,
wrong
man. He's
with
amazing.
Sheldon Keefe has 1 crown.
Wow, he's got half the crowns of Babcock.
Mark Pissick, 1 crown.
The only non-leaf, I think.
The fans in Vancouver, 1 crown. And you, the people,
Steve gave that one.
have 1 crown.
For watching this terrible team.
Probably.
Yes. Steve did give out that 1 U to the people. Anyways, thought that was fun. Thank you, Reddit, for doing this.
Man, I love that
That's
stuff.
unbelievable.
I gave
Stats
two
about the
people's
show.
crowns.
I wonder what other stats about the show you could track. Like, what else could you track?
I
I know
know,
for a
that's
while people
interesting.
were tracking our Stanley Cup predictions, and we just kept forgetting to do them.
I want to. This would take 7 years of listening to the podcast to do, but I want a list of the nicest.
Everyone you've called the nicest
total list.
person
I want a full
ever.
list of
You know
the
what?
nicest-
If someone actually does that, then I will bring. You know how Stephen A. Smith has like a list and
Oh,
they put
yeah.
slots in. I'll get one of those and I'll put it in the office and I'll be like, adding someone else to the nice list. Put it up here. I would love to see that.
and like a sticky note that says naughty list.
Banned from the show, just Gary Bettman.
There's another one. A list of people banned from the show.
6 players who have. This is from xmonk73 on the comments under Helmy 40's post about our crown stats. He writes, or they write, there are only 6 players who have played over 20 games for the Leafs this season and not won a crown yet. You guys want to take a guess before I reveal?
6 players who have played 20 games for the Leafs and not won a crown.
Cody Ceci.
One.
Oh, really?
He is one of those players.
He never even got one, eh?
Nope.
Are you surprised? Travis Dermott.
Barrie probably got one.
Travis Dermott is not on there. Oh. Barrie is not on there.
3 defensemen.
Barrie has a crown. Yeah.
Riley?
Riley has a crown. No.
Dmitro
He has a crown.
Timashov.
Timashov is on that list. There you go.
Does Muzzin have a crown?
Yes, he does.
Muzzin has a crown.
Martin Marincin.
Yeah, he is on that list. Martin Merchant has never received a crown.
Oh, it's probably he's not. Oh, he's never received it.
How many
Yeah, so
players
he's
have we
he's on. So you guys have gotten 3 so far: Ceci, Marincin, and Timashov.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood you.
Oh yeah, sorry. These are guys who have played at least over 20 games and not received a crown.
Goat.
Goat's on there.
There's
As
4.
in he's the fourth.
Yes, he
Okay.
is 4. Yes.
Cappy?
Nope.
He never got a crown?
No, he is on the crown list.
Oh, he's on the crown list. Janssen.
Johnson has a crown.
Has
Johnson
Engvall
has a crown.
Has
Yeah.
Engvall gotten a crown?
I thought I gave Engvall 2.
Engvall has a crown.
Huh.
Okay, he's got 1.
Damn, we're just gonna list off players here.
Kerfoot.
Kerfoot has a crown.
What? Okay.
All right, Jesse, just give us the other two.
I will give you the 6
we're
guys.
still missing 4?
Goat, Timashov, Hyman, Ceci, Marincin, Nick Shore.
Okay, well,
Guys,
we're missing
Zach,
two?
guys who have
Jesus.
played 20 games and not received a crown
Zach
yet.
Hyman deserved a crown at least once.
No, you guys have disrespected him.
I'm
I've
sorry,
given
Zach.
my
That's-
crown to the
that's
correct
not fair,
person.
Nick
Zach.
Shore played at least 20 games with the Leafs.
No,
No,
yes.
the stipulation was at least 20 games.
Yeah.
Didn't say 20 games with the Leafs.
Oh.
No, I think Nick Shore played 20 games with the Leafs.
No
Let's-
way. Did he?
Maybe
I'm checking it. I'm
no.
checking it.
Maybe our friend here got the
Effing
stat
way.
wrong.
I am checking.
Nick Shore played 21 games with the Toronto
He
Maple Leafs
did.
in the 1920 season.
This season
Wow.
has been 150 games long.
He had
you go.
3
Holy-
points with the Leafs in Winnipeg. He's got a goal and an assist in 27 games. So
Wow.
oof.
That's pretty good. You know what? Tyson Barrie, you know how many goals he would score if he did the Spezza move from the Ducks game? Fake a slap shot, which everyone will assume is coming, and then just carry it?
be nice because he's got wheels.
Yep.
Like, I don't understand why a guy who loves to carry the puck so much wants to get it off his stick so quickly.
It'd be the right move to do in, say, 3-on-3 overtime. When you might be completely screwing your
I'd
teammates
prefer
over.
he shoot it off someone's shins, though. I love that sound of that crack. It's great.
Hyman needs so many more crowns.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Let's fix
Man, that guy came back and like didn't miss a flippin' beat.
Underappreciated as always. Didn't miss a beat, got better.
Yeah, he's
Got
been. This
better.
is to me. This is the best he's played ever.
Easily.
Okay, well listen, Steve's on his phone, so that means it's the end of the show.
No, I was just making sure that nothing happened.
Do you want to show Jesse another meme or something that you want to send over? He missed that completely. Anyway,
I've
happy
already
National
picked up.
Pizza Day,
It is International Pizza
and
Day.
and we've got a little video for Palentine's coming at you a little later this week. Very excited. So thank you so much for listening as always, and Steve, thank you for listening. Mostly you.
You know, Adam, we all got our flaws.
The deepest flaws. I love you, buddy. All right, let's get out of here. We'll see you Wednesday.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter
@SteveDangle.
Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Brought to you by Pageau Pizza. Order at pageau.com and stuff your face with deliciousness. Connection complete.